So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 tips for runners to help with injury prevention. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Heather here, and this is mainly for my running community that's out there, and I want to talk about the 5 tips for injury prevention for runners. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down each tip. You can go to the timestamps down below so you can kind of jump ahead to the section that might be more helpful for you, but do pay attention to all 5 because they are essential, really making sure that you have a really great running season ahead, especially when we focus on injury prevention. So let's start with tip number 1. So as you all know, I love the foam roller. I'm really big into myofascial work, and if you haven't checked out the myofascial series, which kind of just gives you a general overview of the whole entire body, breaking it down from point to point, you're going to want to really pay attention there because breaking down our tissue has a huge impact on increasing flexibility and mobility, which is really essential when we look at injury prevention. Now, if you have more further questions on myofascial work or specific questions regarding how to do a specific area, like I said, check out that video series because it may answer your questions. But like always, if you have more specific questions pertaining to an injury that's kind of going on with you, drop some comments down below. Now let's take a look at number 2. We need to really have a better understanding of our muscle imbalances, because if we know what's weak, if we kind of can start addressing those weak imbalances, those compensation patterns, guess what? We can help those injuries from setting in. Having a better understanding of our biomechanics, having a better sense of what muscles should be firing when throughout the entire running cycle is hugely important. So if you are somebody who is experiencing a lot of reoccurring discomforts, like with IT band issues or shin splints, you're going to want to pay really close attention to some of the other videos that I have on the channel here that go into greater detail, because once we understand those weaknesses, we can really focus on how to correctly strengthen the body, so this way we can really see injuries not set in and we can continue running and seeing success in our own running program. So tip number 3 focuses on rest and recovery. This is really important to make sure that you don't have an injury set in, because when we are in our training programs, we can feel like, there's a lot going on. We're trying to attack so much, and our bodies may not be able to handle the amount of load or that extreme intensity that we're trying to pick up to. So making sure that you do things to incorporate proper rest and recovery, like maybe taking some yoga, doing some more active stretching, devoting a day to more myofascial work, will really help essentially in those recovery periods, as well as making sure that you're getting plenty of rest, plenty of sleep. So now tip number 4, we're going to start addressing proper biomechanics by looking at shoes. So something that I really talk to my runners a lot about is making sure that you're going to that local shoe store, you're getting those proper fittings, because guess what? Our shoes do play a part in our injury prevention. So making sure that our footwear complements our running style is going to be really important in having a better understanding on how to not have those injuries set in, like especially shin splints. That is one of the common ones that we always see because we're not really focusing on how our foot is hitting the ground, and that relates more to the biomechanics. So making sure that you have the proper footwear, you understand the difference between pronation, supination, heel strike, going off the ball of the foot, it's going to ultimately help you in figuring out how to better help your body and not have those injuries set in that can occur. So now lastly, our tip number 5 is going to focus around more in terms of fueling the body. So we always want to make sure that we're fueling our body correctly, because guess what? We don't want to see inflammation setting into our body, which can also hinder our ultimate performance. So if we know what we're eating, if we know what we're ingesting, it can also play an effect on creating more inflammation inside of our body, inside of those joints, which is something we're not going to want. So it's so important that we take a look at our nutrition by making sure that we're eating a little bit more on the healthy, clean side, and maybe we're using some vitamins or minerals like magnesium to help decrease the inflammation from a little bit more overtraining, or maybe we're more prone to inflammatory conditions because maybe we do suffer with an autoimmune disorder. So guys, those are my 5 tips right there. I've gone ahead and left those timestamps down below. And if you found this little short video on 5 tips for runners regarding injury prevention, do give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so, because I try to make sure there's some really great content on here. So this way you all see some really great value in the stuff that's being put out for you. As always, guys, this is Dr. Heather. Fix Your Pain Naturally is the name of the game, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.